now, okay?
All right.
So, this is Inane Blather. We're back. It feels like it's been forever, but I think it's just because I haven't still uploaded the latest podcast to YouTube, but it'll be up today.
And also, we're a day late recording.
And $1 short. And this is the show where you learn that
socialism is when no car.
And it is taught to you by a couple of
headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil, thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
And that concludes today's lesson.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a lot. Today's lesson,
yeah.
Socialism is when no car.
And the other thing to remember?
That Doug guy? Wow, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, I wrote that down, actually.
Yeah, that Doug guy? But, okay, so, yeah, and I think it's just been wild, this whole start to the year. And can you believe this is episode 25?
25.
The Richard Sherman episode.
That's what we're calling it.
Maybe I should just start looking up random athletes from here on out. So that it doesn't even make sense. It's like, we're going to do this in the style of Richard Sherman. It's like, what does that mean?
Good luck.
I'm going to be really defensive the whole time, okay?
Nice.
They're like, oh, like, as in his football thing. No, because he's got a communications degree. Anyway, let's not go into all that. But it's been just weird. We went through some familial family issues.
Yeah, it was very
yesterday.
emotional, very stressful.
Yeah, and so that's why we're doing it a day late. But besides that, and also Natalie has been working a lot, like the lazy leftist loser that she is, just working.
And just working
all the
2
time.
jobs.
Me, I literally took a nap today.
Sometimes I take naps in the morning before work, though. So.
Oh, yeah, it's called going to bed.
Oh, yeah,
I wake up from my 6-hour nap like every morning before I go to work. But hopefully we're starting the new year strong.
We both are, because we're both hitting the gym.
Yes. I mean, I have yet to exercise, but I am bloodying my knuckles.
On that poor guy, James.
It's a really weird way to do that pun. Yeah, by hitting the gym. There's this, I live in a small town, so there's one guy named Jim. It's actually my ex-wife's uncle. Really nice guy, but I was like, hey, this is my resolution. He's like, stop. I'm like, we've got to follow through on what we want to do for the year. Self-improvement. Well, how's the weather?
The last 2 days, yesterday, what a phenomenal day. And with all that family, all that kind of stuff going on, I was very keenly aware of what an incredibly beautiful day it was and how I was able to appreciate it and enjoy it later in the day and be really very just aware of my surroundings and how people, when things happen that don't turn out well, how their day, when everything changes, you're not thinking about, wow, the mountains and the view and blah, 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 this and that. Even on my drive I went to my singing lesson yesterday because Kelsey was like, just go, like, you have your phone and you can't do anything.
Go do something.
So, go do something. And I didn't even notice, I'm sure the mountain was out. I didn't even notice it. I wasn't even thinking about it. I didn't look. I'm normally like very, oh, it's so, what an incredible sunny day. It was beautiful and totally not on my mind. That's for sure. And then later in the day when everything was fine, and I was just really struck by the beauty and how I can appreciate it and share it with people in my life. And there was a beautiful sunset. It was
how emotions can change your literal perspective. So
very much so. Yeah. Definitely talked about that. Yeah. About like body dysmorphia and like that I've had like bad depression and how viewing myself literally, you saw that drawing. We've talked about this. Like how literally couldn't see myself for what I look like. Like I haven't changed. My looks haven't changed that much, but the way I view myself is way different than it was when I drew a picture of me with huge stretch marks and saggy tits and all that kind of stuff, you know. I wouldn't draw that now. I'd be like, ooh, what a goddess. She's so hot.
Yeah. No, you just
And I
draw the
look
same
pretty
thing
much the
and
same.
just say like beautiful woman. Yeah, no. Because
Yeah.
it can change your actual
Well,
perspective.
that drawing was
No, yeah. It was pretty quite a
pretty
caricature.
cruel. Yeah,
Yeah.
pointing out fat
It
thighs
was like
and
a Ben
stuff.
Garrison cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the end, you know, we're fine, and I think it's great to be fine.
Yeah, it's great to be fine. I'd agree with that. How's the weather over there?
Yes. It's dreary bullshit. Well, it's been nice that it hasn't been like freezing. It barely gets down to freezing at night. What I've been dealing with is the fog. Oh my gosh. And I
Ew.
forget that when we go to our hometown, supposedly I always heard
Fog
that
Hollow
before it was
over there.
Yeah, before it was incorporated, they called it Fog Hollow. And it's just crazy. I went to our stepbrother's 30th birthday party last weekend, and no. Okay, it was kind of foggy on the way back. That wasn't as bad as it could have been. But then 2 days later, I drove up to see our grandmother, and on the way back, it was brutal. It was exhausting.
Yeah.
The drive back. It was like, you know, it's like an hour and a half usually or something. It was like 40 miles an hour for like an hour straight. Thick fog, could not see in front of you. Like
Yeah.
more than 50 feet on the highway.
well,
it was crazy.
That was like on Christmas Eve where you drove back and then I
Yeah.
drove back to Dad's. And that night, I literally was not even, my foot wasn't even on the accelerator. Like I was creeping along, barely able to see the line on the right-hand side. And I was like, thank God Dad let me borrow his truck because my car has
Yeah.
a headlight out on the right side. I literally would not have been
Yeah,
able to drive.
no.
Yeah, like you could not see anything. It was so, and that's like windy over railroad tracks on a 2-lane road that has like an edge with no guardrail. So I'm like, oh my God.
that initial turn there, even the other day, was just like, okay, well, there's no one coming, so just
Yeah,
drive
know
in the
that
middle
much.
of the road.
That's how I think about it too.
Yeah, and my truck is kind of similar to his. His is way nicer, but I have fog lights and stuff, and it was like, are they supposed to help? It's like,
Yeah.
I think it's
Does
mostly just
anything?
because it's supposed to be a little bit further under the fog, right? So you can, I think it's mostly just so you could see the line better.
Yeah.
Because, and so, I mean, it was pretty thick. And every time, it just happened the other day, I spent all that time creeping through the fog, all the way back to town. I get to, as soon as I get to
The highway.
the Tri-Cities, I don't know, it's like dox myself or whatever, but as soon as I get to the Tri-Cities, it's clear. I'm just pulling into town, it's clear. I'm like, oh, okay, well, we're finally here. And then as soon as I exit the Tri-Cities to go home, it's just immediately back to thick fog. I was like, God damn it.
Oh, yeah. Got some pockets out there.
Otherwise, it's just been like overcast and dreary. And even today, I was at work. The sun came out. We're like, oh my gosh, it's sunny and stuff. And so I got off in the afternoon. As soon as I left the Tri-Cities, when it was gray, I was like, I'm like 18 miles away. What the heck?
There is a big difference, though. I noticed
Yeah.
that when I used to work, close to where you used to work and lived over where you live, it would be like the dividing hill between it. The weather
Yeah.
would be really different. A lot of times where you are, though, the weather was nicer. Like it would be sunnier there. So,
Sure.
know.
Well, it hasn't been, so
what it is.
whatever.
yeah.
So, you said you had a lot to talk about today.
Yeah. So let me start.
Toot, toot,
Dead
toot.
air. Yeah.
Oh man, that would have been perfect.
I know. I
Hope
kind of.
you get ass cancer and die, you son of a bitch.
Sorry. Sorry to make you look bad.
Yeah, gosh, I was looking at my notes because I knew you had nothing to say. No,
You don't tell jokes.
because you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't really have anything. Yeah.
I was like, "Do you have
Just-
something lined up?" And you're like, "No," and I was like,
Awesome to the max.
Yeah.
I had, I don't know if I have much, like, short things on here. I did write, with, like, mortal enemies, like, I said, they may be my enemies, but at least they're mortal. So, you know how much it would suck to have an immortal enemy.
Yeah, that
would
good.
be really tough.
Yeah. That's one way
I
of
guess,
looking at it. Eventually,
unless
your
it's-
enemies will die.
Yeah, whether
Doug.
before or after you, it doesn't matter. At least
Yeah.
they're not immortal. Unless
Death
you
is
make
the equalizer.
enemies with God himself. Or a vampire, I guess. But so another little thing, I don't know where to go with this, but it came up again the other day. So we all know who Mr. Tucker Swanson McNear Carlson is.
I
Now
have a
there's
picture
lots
of him
of
in my room.
yeah, it's a poster. Don't say it's a picture.
It's on.
It's a
It's
poster.
on the ceiling. So
You're like,
when I
this
lay
is
in
from
bed.
back in his bow tie days.
Crossfire.
But,
Yeah.
hashtag crossfire. So of course there's a lot of very big, broad things that I dislike about Tucker Carlson and the way he conducts himself. Yeah, I hate him, and
He's
you
the worst.
know,
He's a white supremacist.
I just, yeah. I mean, if he rolled down a hill, I wouldn't care. That's all I'll say. You know, I hope he's got a do not resuscitate thing on. That's what I'll say. That's got to be, that won't break terms of service. Well, I hope he has a do not resuscitate tag on. Or something. I hope they pull that plug. But one very little thing that I don't know why it bothers me. I heard a clip of him the other day, and I heard it again, and I notice that there's a difference between Native American English speakers, not Native American, but
Yeah.
American English speakers. You always say, oh, what's your name? My name is this. His name is Jim. Her name is Sandy. Their name is this. Okay. But Tucker Carlson always uses, he is called Jim something. And it's like something that like, I'm pretty
so
sure like
annoying.
British people. I mean, that's just how like British people say it. Or if you literally translate like other languages, lots of Spanish, that's kind of what, if you say me llamo Doug, it means I am called Doug. But it's just a little thing. It's like, he always says it. He doesn't say, a man named blank was, found by libs of TikTok to be. No, he says a man called Roy Johnson, is a Republican politician who's waving his penis to minors,
He's
But,
like, I love him.
chicks love him. He's called the man. I don't know. I'm not doing improv right now.
Matt Gaetz? Yeah.
I just wrote that. I was like, I don't know where that goes, but it really bugs me. And it's like, is it a purposeful thing? Is it a little tick? Is it just something that he doesn't realize stems from his insanely elitist background?
That's what I was just gonna say.
When he pretends to be a man of the people, talking about how bad the elites are. It's like, you're the heir to a fortune, and you don't even speak the same way we do. And you laugh like a fucking freak, you weirdo.
Like maniacal laughter.
Yeah,
I would
And when
say
it
it
comes-
just sounds. He sounds really pompous. Like he is like a man of the people or whatever he wants to say, but is like always trying to make sure everyone knows that he's the smartest. For sure, his vocabulary sometimes it's like, get over yourself. Oh my god, people don't know those kind of words. It just gives him like a more of a like an air of authority, maybe too, like that he knows what he's talking about. But he seems like such a pompous, like, idiot.
Every
God,
time I hear him
Tucker
laugh,
Carlson
instead of being mirthful, it just seems like
He is cold, hollow, and violent.
it's all like he has a fucking severed head in his fridge. But, another thing, talking about right-wingers, I did write, I feel bad and depressed with my Twitter usage, And then I see Jordy Peterson, and I feel much better about my life. This dude is addicted. He's got a fucking problem with Twitter. Like,
he gave up benzos, so...
Well, if only that were a marginally healthier thing to have.
Did you see his suit that had Elon Musk's face all over the tie?
Yes. Oh, my God.
What a simp.
Some more news just came out with part 1 of a new Elon Musk thing, and watching it, one comment near the beginning was a great comparison. I didn't put it together in my head, but of course, Elon Musk buys Twitter for $44 billion, way overpriced. I mean, we could all tell that, but it's tough. It's a tech company to tell how overpriced. All this shit gets so inflated. It's so weird. But Cody Johnston said he purchased Twitter for $44 billion, which is $40 billion more than Disney purchasing Star Wars.
What?
And it's like, that's right.
My God.
That seemed like a lot of money when Disney bought Star Wars for $4 billion. They bought Lucasfilm. And it's like, holy shit. Now there's an investment.
Who even came up with the price on it?
Like, they made it all back with 2 movies.
Yeah. And he's
I'm pretty sure, and
don't quote me on that though.
That it was because his initial offering, because it's based on share price, and he wanted to buy it out at $420 a share, $420.69 or some fucking meme number.
He's so fucking cool.
Because he's a meme lord.
Yeah.
Lord Memington the Great.
Chicken skin Memington.
And he would laugh at that.
Oh God.
I don't know. I could just say,
we hate all the Muslims because all of the Muslims are terrorists. We gotta hate the Muslims.
And I think he'd laugh at that too, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Elon Musk, he sucks. Twitter sucks. I'm on Twitter all the time. It sucks. But Jordan Peterson, he sucks.
Yeah. What's up with him?
Oh man, it's getting bad and it's embarrassing. And
but what is his tweet ratio? Like, is he reaching a lot of people? Are there a lot of supporters?
Oh
in
yeah,
his tweets?
He has a lot of followers. There's a lot of back and forth in the replies. He still has a lot of supporters, and especially since he's leaned into the really reactionary, anti-PC, anti-woke thing, which is. Like, you could see that coming from a mile away because he started off with anti-trans stuff.
I've always been a Jordan Peterson hater.
Being popular. Yeah, but from that, me too, I can at least, raise my hand and be like, I always thought that he was cringe, so I'm kind of cool and not cringe, okay?
Yeah. That's how you can tell.
Anyone who says that I'm cringe, that's
cringe.
Yeah, exactly. But I had like a little cringe thing here, but it's down with
I need to see a dick.
That guy.
That's not cringe.
I need to relabel these at all again, but so just little things. Jordan Peterson, Tucker Carlton.
What has Jordy been saying? Just
I don't even want to go. He tweets all the fucking time. But his latest thing is because the board of regents or whatever they do in Canada, the actual board that gives him the
psychiatry
certification to be a licensed psychiatrist, is because he has a degree in psychology. Although, and this is just Twitter reading. That I haven't looked up, but I did hear that. Yeah.
Don't quote me on that.
But I think in Canada, someone said in Canada, it's not like America where if you have a PhD, you are a doctor, but it's like just having a PhD doesn't give you the title of doctor in Canada. You'd still have to be a certified doctor from some sort of board, so he wouldn't be Dr. Jordan Peterson, which
so
is
dope.
just pure just Schadenfreude, just like, hell yeah, do that. Only so he's not Dr.
But
Jordan B.
also
Peterson.
legitimately, because what
But
does
I
that
think
term
all of
even
the,
mean? If it's like,
yeah,
why would
well-
he be a doctor if he's such a fucking idiot? Like, why would he deserve this title if he's just actively speaking against the things like that all like these other doctors agree with?
Yeah,
So,
it's not
I
just
mean,
the fact that he's that his
Like,
opinions
sort
vary
of like the
wildly from
standard?
ours or from public opinion, but it's like, no, he's doing and saying things that kind of go against the terms and the mission of the board that gives these things.
Yeah.
So I feel like the complaints are valid, even if some of them you could say, well, that's kind of nitpicky because it's him on Twitter. But you know what? Don't even try to downplay it by saying that some of these things were said by him on Twitter, because Twitter is where he lives now. It's crazy.
Twitter
And,
is him expressing himself just like he would in a speech or anything. That's him portraying himself to the public.
The same things.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's like a standard. They're saying like this is what it is to be a doctor, is to like whatever their values or what you're saying their mission is. So yeah, don't they want? Is that who they want? Like, you know, birds of a feather flock together. Those are the kind of birds you want flocking with you? I don't fucking think so. He's like a sickly dodo.
Yeah, sickly. Yeah, really. Oh, yeah, he's just, I mean, here's a bunch of tweets from today already. There's a shock. The colleges, wow, he misspelled colleges? What the fuck? Designed to, quote, regulate professionals in Canada have become woke commissars like CP Ontario, you know, and like just, he tweets a lot. He's a freaking weirdo. He's off his rocker. It's like, yeah, I'm on Twitter all the time because I just don't do anything when I'm at work, you loser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is, isn't he? Or he's divorced? I don't know.
That sounds
I don't
right.
care. All I know is
He is cold, hollow, and violent.
that's what I'll say about that.
That's true.
But you know, Tolstoy said, and this goes to these people falling into the anti-woke cult garbage like Jordan Peterson. The most difficult subjects can be explained to the most slow-witted man if he has not formed any idea of them already. But the simplest thing cannot be made clear to the most intelligent man if he is firmly persuaded that he knows already what is laid before him. Ain't that true?
Because if you think that you're a wise man, then I know you to be a fool. That's like, and it's interesting, it's like the most intelligent man.
Yes.
It's like, is it really intelligent if you're always just, you've already have your opinion firm and you won't take in any new information? That's not really intelligence. But
And
I mean, I know what, I get the quote. But
The problem is that's the line that all these bozos take, that kind of line of thinking, oh, well, you just won't listen to any other information. It's like, bro, you're giving me shit information here. Like, you're giving this information because you have your mind made up. Like,
yeah, and you're not listening to me. And I've
uh,
told people before, I've already thought about that. And I have come to this conclusion. Whatever you're bringing up, I have an argument against it. So if you want to
because
do
I've
that,
looked into it.
okay,
And if I haven't,
yeah,
then
exactly.
sure,
bring
tell
something
me,
up,
but
and then
I kind of
when
doubt it.
yeah, it's like when
Because
this
that's
argument
why I
fails, so give
hold
me
this
another
opinion.
one. Exactly, because I fucking thought about it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm tired of being a corporate shill.
I don't know. It's just random. So,
And, you know, everybody's stupid except for me.
yeah.
I'll cut your throat. I'll come to your house and kill your children.
Let's see, I wrote, you know what's funny is I wrote like weeks ago here in these notes that never got brought up. Tesla ousting Elon from his CEO position due to his financial incompetence with a Twitter purchase would be so rich and creamy sweet. That's what I wrote. And I wonder if that's going to happen. It is funny going back to talking about that doorknob that he's like, yeah, already set records for how much wealth you can lose in like a month's time.
And like, what is his job as CEO?
Just to
Isn't it
run
to
a
the
company
shareholders?
Into the ground. Yeah.
Like,
and
doesn't he
it's
owe
like,
them
so,
something?
even if he has I don't even think he has a majority share, right? He just is just the largest shareholder and the CEO, I think, of Tesla. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, there's, I'm sure there's a corporate board of directors and large shareholders that could call a meeting to say, you're not CEO anymore. They're like, we just watched Silicon Valley, and they did that to Thomas Middleditch, and you're being a little Thomas Middle bitch right now. So, and one guy in the back's like, oh, and Elon's just like, well, I'm gonna write that down and tweet it out as a meme, like I'm the one who came up with it, because he fucking does that all the time. I hate that. I've seen his replies, and some Elon freak will post some meme in his replies, and Elon does not retweet them. He's the top Twitter user. He's the Twitter guy, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't retweet these people. He saves the meme. He'll like their meme and like laugh at it, but then he saves it and just posts it as a tweet. I'm like, dude, come on, this is basic like internet etiquette here.
Yeah,
like
for
what
sure.
the fuck? Like, give the man his shine.
What a big dumb loser he is. Just like, what a total just little 8th grader. I mean, ugh, yeah. I just can't. And that's an interesting thing to think about, though, him being removed as the CEO, because because they do that, like votes of no confidence and stuff. And what can that mean? Like, I wonder what their like contracts look like. Like for him as a CEO, it's like you have to conduct yourself in a certain manner. Like when he's losing, like Tesla's losing value, people who have their stocks, in Tesla, and he owes something to the shareholders. Like his behavior is so incredibly public. Like it's just an interesting thing to think about, like how people can negotiate that, just saying like that it's bad. You're bad for the company. Like your personality.
Right. It's like there's no getting around the fact that you're losing the company money. And you know it because this company money is most of your money. It's most of your wealth. And you know that you're losing a lot of fucking money. But
I guess you can make it pretty objective then, because there is like numbers to look at. Like if there's, I don't know what the decline has been in prices, but if there is like a certain amount that...
The type of nerd that's going to go up and have that chart is also the type of guy that loves Elon too much. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're like, we can turn this around,
I just don't get the appeal of him. Why is he so, like, why do people think he's cool?
Because he did a good job crafting his public image in a certain way for long enough that people bought in enough, and then... Once we're past the point where people would be buying in on the whole, like, he's a genius entrepreneur engineer guy, I think once we're kind of past that point, he made it's like almost the perfect time for him to do all this, I mean, objectively stupid business plans, but in terms of his cult of personality, to pivot to this kind of right-wing crap. Because then he'll keep bringing in these people to his side that don't think about this stuff, and now he's just their guy. So now they have the people that already liked him and are fans of him and just won't hear otherwise because it's too late, and they have this sunk cost celebrity fallacy, I guess.
It's called a cult.
Yeah, or, at this point, they have a bunch of money in Tesla maybe or something, or they bought a Tesla. And then there's just right-wing doorknobs, like I'm saying, right-wing bozos and goofballs that really love him now because comedy's now legal on Twitter, quote unquote.
Because nothing's funnier than making the libs cry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm so glad that Elon took over and made libs of TikTok get their account back. Oh my gosh, it's so good for society. Fucking loser. Oh, they come up in my timeline all the time. It's one thing that makes me... I need to just block them, but it's
libs of TikTok.
It's a great place to argue with dumbasses, but it's like, I don't know, sometimes.
That's why I go on Reddit and say most controversial comment or whatever, or scroll down to the ones, and I'm like, you dumb Nazi.
Especially in r/politics. Yeah. I like doing that on Twitter though, because just sometimes now it's like, hey, if you want this free speech place, I know that my replies might be hidden, but I mean, there's just unambiguous, like, Nazi sympathizers all over Twitter. It doesn't take long to get to them, especially in reactionaries' replies and stuff like that, or anything, or libs of TikTok or things like that. And as soon as you see that, I love just saying, fuck off, Nazi bitch. That's all I'm saying. And get a few likes and then block them. Be like, fuck off, you're a Nazi. Like, I mean, there's people that, like, they're not going to deny it. They'll just be like, oh, you just don't like hearing the truth? They don't say, I'm not a Nazi. It's like, yeah, shut up, Nazi. Fuck you.
Yeah,
I don't
you
care.
are.
I don't care what fact. At that point, it's like, there's no facts and logicking your way out of this. I don't give a fuck who you are. Do you think that if pro-life conservatives could go back in time to kill Hitler, you know, like how we can always
abort
do
him?
But the only way you can kill him is by aborting him, that they would do it?
Yes.
You do? I don't know.
I think that because
Do you think Kanye would?
I think because these people
He
have
says that
no
Planned Parenthood
actual
is the new Holocaust for black people.
Oh yeah. Because those people don't have actual values. They don't really care about abortion. They don't care about babies or anything like that. They just use it as a political point. And what would score you more points than killing Hitler? They legit these
True.
Congress people, yeah, right. If their teenage daughter got pregnant or whatever,
Yeah, Congress people, yeah.
give me a
I'm thinking
break.
just
I mean,
these
like
pro-life, conservative, evangelical people. I don't know.
Oh, those people? Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think
you
that
get
they
to
would
go back in time to kill
take
Hitler.
the tack.
Wow, but the only way to do it is you have to have a doctor perform
Abort
an
him.
abortion on Hitler's mom.
Or you have to have a baby born and then kill a baby.
Oh my god.
Okay. Psycho.
I don't know if I would do that. They're like, no,
Yeah,
this is
Stephen
legit.
Colbert-
This is Hitler. I'm like, no, I'm not going to kill a baby.
Stephen Colbert has the answer that I've always had too. Is like,
Okay.
he's like, I would raise him in a loving home with,
Yeah.
diversity
I'd
and all these
steal
kinds
him.
of things. And if he grew up in this way, then I'd kill him. If he started
Yeah,
being
wait
a
until
Nazi,
he's
then
18,
I'd kill him.
and it's like, you're still like the regular
Yeah.
Hitler. All right, I guess I'm going to jail.
Because that is
But-
an interesting point that I think about often in trying to be compassionate, is that, Hitler was once a newborn
Nurture.
baby. Like, if you've ever been around a newborn baby, you couldn't think that it's Hitler. You would think that it's a beautiful,
I don't know. You ever
perfect-
been next to a baby
like-
on the plane?
It's like the manifestation of all of the possibilities. And
Yes.
I think, even Donald Trump was once a baby. And like I've seen pictures of him when he's like a little boy, and it makes me
Oh,
sad
so
like to
cute,
think
yeah.
of what people can grow up into, because they are like toddlers. They're learning to walk, they're learning to talk, and then they do become these people because
Monsters.
of the influences around them. Yeah, like become Hitler. I mean, from a baby. Become
Yeah.
Putin was once a little giggling baby.
He was
Can you
once
believe
Putin his
that?
dipes, Yeah, I don't believe
He's
that.
like,
I think
"No, I
he would
wasn't."
just stare
Yeah.
as a baby. He would just stare, and then
Yeah.
he would like make eye contact
use
with
the
you, and then
toilet.
just shit his diaper. Yeah, and then he would only laugh once you had to change it. You're like, God,
Yeah.
I think
He's
he
kind of a
like,
smirk.
yeah, exactly. They're like, this boy be president someday. He's strongest
He is
man in
perfect
family.
Russian.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I did have something open. I hope I kept this tab open. That was something I was going to read about. I have all these little things just to jump back and forth.
To inanely
But-
blather about, perhaps?
Yeah, exactly, which is fine. Also some
It's
things
great to be
about
fine.
this well, we can go over that later. I had something open. Oh, and I thought I even tweeted this because I was like, this is like seriously the funniest headline I've ever read in my life. New York
I've seen
Post.
some pretty crazy ones.
New York Post. President Biden's pivot to the center is more of the same extremist nonsense.
What the fuck? Oh my god. I'm not speaking the same language as people. Oh my God. Like, what does that even mean?
The big proof of the alleged pivot is his border plan and last weekend's visit. If you buy that, we have several bridges to sell you. Yeah, and it's like, this dude is just as bad on the border as Trump. Like, except he just hasn't built any border wall. That's it. Like, everything.
Yeah, and Trump barely even did that.
Yeah, and it's like, and I don't know how much legitimacy there is to the arguments about fentanyl crossing the border. Like, it just doesn't make very much sense to me, and how now it's part of the opioid crisis, and it always seemed like that was a pretty American thing. I keep thinking about the fact, like, the first time I saw people recreationally taking fentanyl, and that was with some friends in 2011. It's like, people have been doing this. You used to get the patches and cut them into strips. People would freebase them or just put them on and stuff like that. Like, come on, it's fentanyl. It's a pharmaceutical. Anyway, but
and who makes more pharmaceuticals in America?
Yeah, and anytime there's like some sort of border argument about the dangerous border crisis and all this stuff crossing the border, it's like, I don't know. I just immediately don't really believe that it's 100% true. Because, I mean, there's bias everywhere, but at the same time, it's like, border stuff is so skewed in this country. It's so hard to get any good media on it. And if you want to go by anecdotes, I don't know, just live my life, because every immigrant, illegal or otherwise, has been a wonderful person that I've met. Yeah. So it's like,
I mean,
Jesus
and it's like,
Christ.
what do drugs have to do with refugees?
Yeah,
I don't really understand.
Say that's part of the border crisis. It's like, well, we have like an entire arm of the Department of Homeland Security that's supposedly patrolling the border at all times and shit, and have all these racist fucks out there ready to shoot immigrants. It's like, I don't think that a bunch of fentanyl is coming through amnesty asylum checkpoints and stuff.
That's
like,
exactly what I'm saying.
It's like, much sense.
Do you guys, have you ever seen a movie on organized crime? Like, there's other ways around it to do. You're bringing in like hundreds of pounds of drugs, and you think these like bedraggled, tired people with hardly any belongings are carrying a bunch of fentanyl on them?
Yeah.
No.
So even if you want to have,
and they're talking about getting busts done, it's like, yeah, that means that you've amped up, like, you're doing a good job if you're stopping this fentanyl. If you're finding fentanyl or whatever, that means that it's working. What you're doing is stopping it from coming in, because
I guess
that's what
reaction,
a bust is.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like, look how much fentanyl there is. It's a nightmare. It's like, what? Well, how much is getting across without us intercepting it? And I'm not, and I just don't even think they should be. I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's like, we should be doing other things, of course.
And maybe
to
people wouldn't be getting addicted to drugs if they had better material conditions and better access to mental health. Maybe it's like a more systemic issue than just like this one particular drug, because if it's not fentanyl, it's going to be something else, because that's what people in times of desperation can turn to, especially if they become addicted to it, because it's all these addictive substances made by pharmaceutical companies, like maybe there's like some systemic fucking problem that's going on.
And that some are like known to be dangerous and easily abused, yet they're so, all of our legislators are so in the pocket of these pharmaceutical companies because of the capitalist system's pressure that it places on the government.
So it's capitalism once again.
Well, of course, capitalism is what causes the opioid crisis. I mean, you have to be a dumbass to not think that. And there are a lot of dumbasses
the dirty
out there.
people coming across the border, and you know it. It doesn't have anything to do with people starting businesses like pharmaceutical companies. That's just the free market. That's a good thing. Brown people.
Man, this fact is, Biden's hand is always out to Republicans who will ... vote for what he wants. Yeah, no shit, dumbass. What?
Vote for what he wants?
If he genuinely means to change course, he could start by apologizing for his administration pressuring Twitter to censor his critics. The Twitter files? Oh my God. He'd beef up border security. He'd promise to spend less money and cut taxes. So your thing, his pivot to the center would mean he just is a Republican. And you're calling him an extremist. Like, what are you talking about?
So
if
yeah,
he really wanted to change course, he would just start doing everything we want to do. I mean, that would be a change of course, all right. I mean,
yeah, I don't really understand like what the tone of this article is. Like, what do they want him to be? Like, are they saying he's disappointing liberals?
Bullshit.
And also, yeah,
no, this says it. You know what they really think he is until he actually reverses course on something, count Biden as still enthralled to the loudest and farthest left elements of his own party.
What?
He doesn't pay for one thing.
So he's pivoting to the center as he's like also kowtowing to the most extreme on the left. Is that what they're saying?
Well, no. So they're saying calling him out, saying, "Oh, supposedly he's pivoting to the center, but he's not."
Oh, okay.
Because he's not being a fucking right winger like us. But that's because they think that he's on the far left to begin with. And it's
oh my God.
He's in the center. There is no pivot. Like, and
do they ever listen to liberals complaining about Joe Biden? Oh my God. We're like, he's not, I mean, not liberals, progressive people, actual progressive people.
Progressives are
saying that he's not far left enough.
Elements. Oh my God.
Yeah.
we
hate him.
Bernie Sanders is a nationally recognized person. AOC is nationally recognized. They're not the furthest left people in the country, but maybe the loudest voices that are definitely to the left of Joe Biden. Like, did you stop to think about any of this? Like, what a racket writing for this fucking newspaper. Like, who wrote this? Oh, the Post editorial board wrote this. Wow, what a weird name. You're just gonna be
a snarky bitch the whole time and like just not convey any real information and just be sort of like a bitch. Like how like it would be fun to write that for sure, but it just seems odd coming from the editorial board of like a major publication.
Yeah, exactly. And showing up alongside Mitch McConnell at a bridge to be upgraded with federal funding, as he did on January 4th, doesn't show the least change of heart. Okay, that's been his... Why would that be? Why would you want a change of heart there, though? Who's saying that he has like a pivot to the center when stuff like working with Mitch McConnell is something that he campaigned on, and we all said, don't do that. It's
you idiot.
It's stupid. It's R-worded.
Mitch McConnell sucks.
Like,
yeah, I don't.
Oh my God! Here's another article. Cynical El Paso cleanup before Biden's visit perfectly sums up his pathetic border policy. In his most effective action yet on the illegal migrant crisis, President Joe Biden on Sunday went to El Paso for his first border visit since taking office and opening the floodgates.
Opening the floodgates.
What changed here? Like, what are you talking about? Plus,
is this like an opinion artitle?
Yeah, it's just an opinion editorial, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
it's like from the New York Post. Like, who the fuck are you anyway?
I like to scroll down and read the comments because there's always just some weird random comments on these kinds of articles.
Let's see here. Here's what a government we have. We have to treat the president of the United States like a child so he doesn't see reality. The country waited 2 long years for this visit. No one cares if he physically goes to the border except you weirdos.
Yeah.
And then we don't even let him see what's really happening. We are doomed.
And in order to leave those kind of comments, you have to like have an account. Like I always want to comment, but I'm like, I'm not going to sign up for an account and be whatever.
This is
blah, blah, blah.
Oh no, it's not. I think you have to have a New York Post account.
Yeah, you do. On like almost like all these articles, like, and so that people have to like go through a process to be able to leave the comments that they're leaving. It's not like you can just leave it and leave.
But
so it's interesting to see what people say.
Well, I love the headline. His pivot to the center is more of the same extremist nonsense. It's really funny, especially of all people like Joe fucking Biden.
I just can't even believe that title. That's pretty incredible. That's like satire's dead. Wow. It's like The Onion.
And another thing that I kind of started seeing, talking about just politics and the Democrats. Well, maybe I'll look into this more first, or you can kind of look into it. Am I crazy, or are there actually Dianne Feinstein super fans out there?
Wow.
This is what I wrote. She's an old hag that hasn't done shit about shit for long as shit, and people are coming out of the woodwork to slam Katie Porter, of all people, in her defense. She's like 91 years old. Then I looked it up. I realized she's only 89, but still, like
89.
So all
Jesus
these Democrats,
Christ.
all these Democrats are upset that Katie Porter announced that she's running for Senate.
I saw that. I was so excited.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, she's a great.
I love Katie Porter.
Yeah. Did you? Or I think I mentioned this on the podcast. I told Dad. I told my ex-wife too, because she loved that book. But I think Dad got it too. That The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. How Katie Porter was just sitting there reading it while the Republicans were trying to get Kevin McCarthy in.
Fuck yeah, she's amazing. She's really, really good with CEOs and stuff.
Really
I love watching her talk to. Yeah, she's
got
like
a good
real
way of explaining it, and
she seems like she'd be a
great.
teacher.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was just going to say that.
A
She has a good teacher vibe, like in a good way. So that's why Libs of TikTok hates her. But no.
How could she ever say anything wrong? Practically, I just think she's awesome.
Yeah, she's great. But I mean, these Democrats, I'm like, where are you people from? I started coming across some of this on Twitter. They already have a nickname for her. They call her Whiteboard Wilma, and and I mean,
because of Dianne Feinstein.
Yes, because now some of these liberal knuckle draggers are like upset because Dianne Feinstein hasn't announced that she's not running yet. But you know what? Good on Katie Porter for just saying it now. It's like, well, I guess if you want to run again, I'm going to primary you, or I'm just assuming that you're going to retire because you're 89 years old.
Because
come on.
Why wouldn't you? And like, are people seriously mad that she didn't do it because she hasn't said that she wasn't going to run yet? Oh my God, like what grade are you guys in? Like,
yeah. Well, I think part of it too.
I just don't really understand what the progress and stuff. Like, what are they trying to?
Slate. Part of it was yeah. Because of some of the other California reps that could be stepping up. So some of them are probably upset that she beat them to it, is what they're saying, which makes sense too. I mean, it's just all political garbage. But Adam Schiff is a prominent Californian.
They could have done it. They could have announced.
Yeah. But exactly, but she beat him to it, and it's like, Jesus Christ, it's like a year and 9 months out. But it's nice to, Here's a Slate. The California feeding frenzy for Dianne Feinstein's Senate seat just started off with a bang, and she hasn't even announced her retirement yet. But it even says, and even though she hasn't given any indication she'll be stepping down, Porter won't be the only one. Is it Feinstein or Feinstein? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Because she hasn't put forward any legislation since the, what was that? Yeah, it was like 15 years ago or something. One of the acts that she passed that actually did something. But if Feinstein, I'll just alternate, 89 years old and in steeply declining health, does mercifully step aside, the race will be an all-out war of California's top political up-and-comers as well as a fundraising bonanza. So it's like, it's a big deal for the Democratic Party, right? But Feinstein has held the post since 1992, That's as long as Patty Murray has been in office, over 30 years. And Let's see.
And
And
she's
Alex Padilla.
89.
Alex Padilla was appointed by the governor in 2021, so will likely hold the seat until he resigns, dies, or tires of it. Which makes sense because it's California. So, I mean, they'll just be in there. But yeah, that other hungry California congressmen and women, including Adam Schiff, Barbara Lee, and Ro Khanna, will also jump into the race as a near certainty, and there will be more too. So yeah, so there's already grumbling about the move, both because she didn't wait until Feinstein's formal announcement and because she beat the others to the punch. Right away, sources in Schiff's orbit lit up the political press with anonymous sniping, saying to multiple outlets, "You don't announce a campaign in the middle of a natural disaster," referring to the flooding in California. And Schiff then blasted out a fundraising email for flood victims. And then in parentheses, an altruistic gesture that would just so happen to bring in more names, emails, and phone numbers for his email list, which incidentally would be quite useful for later donation efforts by a political campaign. Yeah, there's no altruism. And also it's like, yeah, I mean, there's terrible flooding going on in California after the drought, is broken by like these huge rains and stuff like that, which is terrible. Yeah. And it's tough for infrastructure to keep up. And it's a big deal. It's a natural disaster, but it's like, you're not supposed to announce during a natural disaster. We're living through a constant natural disaster. Fuck off.
When would you announce?
Yeah.
And all of that just seems...
Who's going to try to help with these natural disasters and climate change legislation? Katie Porter or Adam Schiff, the fucking... Who? The Intel Committee stooge that has spent like 6 years just stewing about like stuff that Trump has done. Good God. But
and it just seems like such a stupid game, like all of like where they're on the same team, they're all Democrats and stuff, and it's like whatever, you're in competition, but you're still wanting a Democrat in that seat, and like instead of looking like we don't agree on things or whatever, that we're like not supportive of the actual causes, that's what it seems like. We just are. It's so ego driven. It's so about the individual. And it's like, these are ideas, guys. We got to just like, someone has an idea, they're going for it. You should be like, good on you. I have these ideas. We'll see what the people decide. And instead it's all of just this such bullshit. It's so immature.
Yeah.
So disappointing that people at that level act like that.
Yeah. And what sucks is that even though it's just one Senate seat that's not going to flip red, it's like guaranteed to be a just this picture perfect example of everything the Democratic Party is going to do wrong and continues to do wrong. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
Like the way that they're going to handle this, it's going to suck. The way that the candidates are going to handle it, it's going to suck. It's going to make it, all they're doing, they just want to start tearing people down instead of, I don't know, putting some ideas out there. You gotta, I mean, here in this article here, I didn't even realize, because I don't follow California politics very much. Good for me. But so they even said in Slate here, replacing her will be critical for the California Democrats to get right, in part because, as mentioned, those Senate jobs tend to be lifetime appointments if you're in California, but more importantly because it was so botched last time. And it says, wow, the way that they're writing this is kind of funny. No, it says, in 2018, Feinstein, then a fresh-faced 85, came up for re-election. There was already plenty of grumbling among California political insiders that her health was not what it had been, and that she was suffering from what the New Yorker later referred to as cognitive decline.
And what does an 89-year-old, who does an 89 or 85-year-old represent?
Yeah.
Also,
even by 2018, California's Democratic politics had grown much more progressive than those of the very, very moderate institutionalist Feinstein. She had met a spirited primary challenger in Kevin De Leon, who was many years her junior and well to her left. The California Democratic Party took the rare step of endorsing De Leon in the runoff, even after a late plea from Feinstein asking California Democrats not to endorse either candidate. But national Democrats overrode the state party and circled the wagons for Feinstein. Barack Obama, in his very first endorsement of the 2018 cycle, backed Feinstein. Later came the support of Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and others, including Adam Schiff, actually. Feinstein ended up outraising De Leon by almost 20 times. And now De Leon is currently embroiled in a racism scandal within Los Angeles City Council. Okay, well, that's probably an interesting story. But, yeah, and she beat him by 8 points. Like, yeah, and it says the national level support looked terribly short-sighted. Just before the November elections, she was partially responsible for the calamitous handling of the Brett Kavanaugh hearings. She sat for weeks on the letter from Christine Blasey Ford. I forgot about that. God, without even telling anyone. That's right. God, this... Yeah, because I'm sure it's just like, well, I don't know, but still, this is the Supreme Court. This is a big
Supreme Court
institution. It's very important. Well, she's not. What's her name? Susan Collins.
Yeah,
but,
she's like 100 years old.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking about it when it's like, this is just like, I mean, I don't want to be too ageist, but it's a pretty big deal. I mean, being that old, like, who is that old and can actually do? Not everyone's Dick Van Dyke, and like no one else is. He's a treasure of a human being. But
absolutely.
But like, I mean, I mentioned it earlier. I took our grandmother out grocery shopping the other day. And this is on a very good day for her. She was pretty nice and, not her crabby self, but
crabby granny.
Even that, it was like, it was a whole thing getting her to, I was getting stuff for her. We were at Winco. It was kind of busy. It was tough. She couldn't quite see some of the signs here and there. She was asking for help from me, and that's why I was there. I was helping her, but it's like, and she's 92. Yeah. She's 92 years old. Oops. That's Dianne Feinstein would be that age in this upcoming term. Like, it's like, go to. So the answer is no. You're done, dude.
It seems just
if someone else wants to take that seat, like, you're done. Unless, fine, primary him. Democrat's going to win either way, but why would the National Party, like, be behind someone like this? Like,
because
what? And what has she done since then besides fuck up? Well, I guess it was right after they did that is when she fucked up the Supreme Court stuff. But, like, I don't know.
Because she's been in politics for like 30 years. That's how she gets support, because she knows all of the people that she needs to know in order to get support, because they're like,
but I think
friends or whatever things kind of got going on, because that's what happens. And it's really it's really disappointing.
Just look at it like with, I mean, any sort of strategy, like any strategic lens, like if support should come from what's gonna work here. It's like, I mean, it's embarrassing enough that we have this doddering old fool in the White House right now. And he's pretty decent for how old he is, but he is gone. Like, that dude is old. He shouldn't be having to do this. He should be relaxing with his family and trying to keep his crazy son out of trouble, Like, that's what he should be doing. And
it just seems like physically these people are like really like the older you get, the more like naps you need. Just like, this is like just true. This is not ageist or anything. It's like you get tired because that's what happens to humans. That's what happens to all animals.
It gets harder to see.
Well, you're supposed to be
read,
like, it's harder to hear, harder to remember, all of these things, because you're just kind of slowing down in every capacity. So why do you just gotta keep? But also, it's like, who for me, I'm like, who are you representing?
Yes.
You're like nobody your age because everyone's fucking dead.
Exactly. So that's
no
where the
idea.
conspiracy
Like, the
theories
internet-
about dead Democrat voters comes from. It's like, well, she's like, I'm just representing my constituency. There's a good, like, a conservative
they're all-
joke right there. It's like, that's why they have
That's
old
funny.
people, because their constituency and all their voters have already passed on. Get it? No.
Like, what does she even understand about the realities of life, though? Like,
Yeah.
for modern life, she's been in politics for 30 years, and she doesn't live. It's just obvious that she doesn't live in the same reality that we do. That she doesn't like have any of the same kind of perspective that we do. So it's not really helpful to have her like making decisions for people that she doesn't know anything about.
Yeah,
So,
in one of the most
I think that,
powerful legislative
like-
bodies on planet Earth.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, it's like, and some, like we were saying, I mean, some people are Dick Van Dyke or whatever. I'm just trying to think of someone off the top of my head
their
where
names
they're
are
like
Dick
really,
Van Dyke.
yeah, where they're fucking lesbians, putting the pipe to them. No, but in a van. No, I don't know where that's going. But
Not Lick Van Dyke. Yeah.
yeah, there we go.
They're criminals and rapists.
But I mean, some people, and it's okay, but most are not. And she has been noted, even by the New Yorker, like it said in that article, to have been experiencing some cognitive decline, which is normal.
And that there's literally
And it's
nobody
like-
better.
But it's like so.
Literally?
Yeah,
She's the only
and,
one?
And also, it's like, I mean, in terms of representing constituents or just the American public at large. Just like how some uber wealthy people are, where they're so out of touch. At least with them, it'll be like, well, they're representing wealthy interests. Like, there's no way around it. They're out of touch with working class. But just to be out of touch with society in general, or just day-to-day life, like, can you just drop off Dianne Feinstein on a corner in in Northridge, California, and be like, okay, we got to have you do these things. Catch an Uber and go to the grocery store and pick up these things and come back and meet me here. Can this person even do that? Like, just do
I
a
don't
normal
think so.
day-to-day thing that Americans do? Like, that's a problem, right?
Have
Can
you
you just
seen
imagine dropping someone off like that? It's like, no. So why are you representing me in the Senate?
Right? Have you seen that
Could
picture
Joe
of
Biden
Hillary
do that?
Clinton?
Probably not. But no, what?
I feel like he would be more capable, but
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton, that picture where someone tweeted it, it's like, I'll never forget the look on Hillary's face when she walked in and saw how middle class people live. And she's like, the shot is her like looking into their kind of galley kitchen. It's just like a small house, and she looks so like horrified.
Oh no!
And like surprised.
She's like, "Oh, you're impoverished." We're like,
Just-
what? I make $90,000 a year.
Yeah, like I'm a middle class
I own
family.
this house. What are you talking about? Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so
it's-
sorry."
Yeah.
How much
You
could a
must eat
banana
ham
cost?
sandwiches wrapped up in
Oh
cellophane.
no, ham sandwiches. Yeah, she walks into like a 2,000
thing.
square foot 4-bedroom house, and it just had, but it was built 45 years ago. She takes one step in there, and she's like,
Oh, God.
it just falls down.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, just that look on her face, really,
This is politics.
that's it.
Nice. Everything's politics.
Yes, exactly. But that especially. So these people going up against Feinstein.
F.
Hey, what if I just do this? Let's see. Hey, Google. How do you pronounce Dianne Feinstein?
That's pronounced Dianne Feinstein.
Okay. Wait, what if I do this?
She's like, you just said it.
How do you pronounce Dianne Feinstein?
That's pronounced Dianne Feinstein.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right.
That does sound more
Feinstein it
familiar.
is.
You just used to hear more about her. She was more often. I mean, she was on Parks and Rec, wasn't she? I think her and
Some other broad.
Yeah, some other fucking Democrat broad. When she was in Washington D.C., Leslie Knope, she was She was like, "Oh my gosh, yeah!" And she met Joe Biden, and she got all mad at John McCain. That's when he's like, "Oh, sorry," but yeah, she called him a war criminal and a traitor. It was awesome. No,
Yeah,
they cut that.
I'm glad they
out.
broke your shoulders. Yeah.
Hey, high five, John.
He can't. He's dead, Doug.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, why can't John McCain give you a high five? And your first answer's like, "'Cause he's dead."
Meghan McCain would not appreciate this part of the podcast. She'd be on board with everything else, though.
Bro, this is such a funny take, dude.
But okay, so let's get out of this stupid Democrat stuff. But I just think it's such an immediate, like, just like, oh man, just want to put your fingers to the bridge of your nose and be like, oh my God, the Democrats, the Democratic Party.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. During the 2022 election cycle, Porter raised more than $25 million, an astonishing figure for a House rep, riding a wave of small dollar support after she repeatedly went viral for grilling corporate CEOs during House investigations. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Yes. Her politics, which is, I mean, and it's fine. She's still a lib, but she's great. She's good representation for this country.
She says
she doesn't
the things
have to
that
be
we
a
all
leftist.
want to say.
Yeah, she doesn't have to be a leftist. She's still working in this system. I mean, it's fine. She'd be a fine senator, I think, as long as she doesn't sell out. But cinema or something. But her politics hew most closely to the Senate's Elizabeth Warren, is what they say in here, which makes sense.
Because she's about like consumer protection for financial stuff. That's what Elizabeth Warren is about too, like protecting people.
Yes, exactly. That's why she's so against the CEOs and stuff like that. It's pretty neoliberal in a way, but in a much better, more appropriate way. Yeah, where it still is focusing on the working class, instead of anything like trickle down, But yeah, I mean, if it's like, if in a couple years that spots Adam Schiff, good God. Like, I mean, he could be fine. He'll just vote yes on Democrat stuff,
fine.
I'm sure.
That's great. It's great to be fine.
I don't like him, yeah, in a bad way. But,
but in a bad way.
Yeah, but it's just like, what? Why? Why this guy? Because he was was it the House Judiciary Committee or the House Intel Committee? I don't know, but it's like
Trump's
it's
Russia
all just
investigation?
anti-Trump Russia stuff. Like, that's why you're like a famous political figure in the Democratic Party? Give me a break. Nobody cares. Like, what?
Boo.
And plus, it's like, sure, everything, it's all well and good, and in terms of the ethics or whatever, like, who's doing the right thing, investigating Trump and all of that. Like, it's not like, I'm not some nothing burger Russia hoax guy, of course. It's like so painfully obvious.
It's like, you were doing your job. Wow, congratulations. That's cool.
The difference there. It's like, if that's your focus and that's why you're famous, what the fuck does that have to do with working class people? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And what did that do?
Were you going to use it
Trump
to
still stayed in office.
Yeah, impeach Trump and have the vice president take over? I don't think so. Speaking of, did you see? I hadn't seen the video before, but on Seth Meyers, he showed that little clip of Mike Pence jogging, like running across the tarmac. Have you seen that?
No, but I can imagine.
It's because he's like clapping at the same time for some reason.
Oh my God,
and
like a little doll boy.
He looks so weird.
I bet.
You'll
seems
see it.
very unnatural for a robot.
The most recent closer look, I think. But yeah, anyway, I'll get out of this Feinstein stuff like I've been saying.
We're at an hour 10.
Yeah. Well, let me just read a couple things to brighten your day. And I mean the opposite. Let's see. Let's go to Politics L's and see what's new. This will be a recurring segment and see what you think. What you think about this? Ooh, here's a Politics L take from a tanky instead of a right winger. Although I mean, people would They're like, they're just fascists. They're not always fascists.
What's
but
a tanky?
A tanky? I mean, a Soviet Russia communist type person. They're often, at least in my experience, often just have the cringest takes on the left, as far as I can tell. Yeah. But yeah, tankies. I mean, just think of the aesthetics too. Just rolling in the tanks, Soviet tank style communism. They're unapologetic Marxist-Leninists usually, and some are even Stalinists. Whatever. But this account, Proud Tanky, says the axis of fascism is Poland, Ukraine, and Israel, who are all supported by the West. It's like there's something there, but I don't think you're striking gold here. Let's see.
The axis of power.
Oh my God! Look at this take. So someone tweeted, which bad take in the first place to respond to. Here's the first bad take is FDR is the most overrated president in American history. Bad take, right? Pretty bad. Yeah.
I agree.
Did incredible things for this country.
Yeah, the most overrated president? Like, what is that?
Like, wow. Not even close. But someone retweeted that and said, I think it's Lincoln. I'm pretty adamant about this. He was a tyrant.
I'm pretty adamant about this. What a loser. What a weird take. What a weird thing to feel the need to put out there, too.
What? I want you to answer this, too. Let's see here. Oh, okay. First take, or it's a question. If you had the choice, would you rather live in 1970s USSR or 2020s USA?
Well, I always wanted to live in the 70s, but
yeah.
Good God, I don't want to live anywhere near Russia, regardless of the time period.
1970s Soviet Union? I don't know, before what's his name really started dismantling all of the Soviet structure. But yeah.
You got to remember, you'd be living in a dreary, awful place.
Hey, maybe, okay, let's say you get to live like near the Black Sea. There's some beaches there,
that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah. But anyway, so some Reagan guy replies, 2020's US. Why? Because I like this thing called freedom, and I'm not willing to give it up just because others use theirs in a way I don't like. Okay, whatever. That's a good conservative take. And someone replies and says, starvation and poverty is way better than LGBT. Culture and Christian values before godless capitalism. What a terrible who are you?
Yeah, what opinion is that? I'm not really sure.
God.
Wow.
There's one on here from Sneeko. Just says depression is only a belief. What a fucking F slur. I swear to God. But I'll finish with this one because this came up in my timeline, and I bet you can't guess who it is. But this guy says, pit bulls should be banned, and there's no sane argument to the contrary. They are dangerous animals responsible for a vastly disproportionate number of fatal maulings in this country. The fact that you think they're cute does not outweigh the danger. Ban them. Which I have very strong feelings to the contrary. Well,
I wrote a 16-page paper in college about breed-specific legislation and why it doesn't make any sense, and had all this research on pit bulls and different breeds that are likely to bite you and blah, 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 all these different factors that go into it. So I would say this person's full of shit, and they have like the most basic understanding of like dog bites and stuff, and just from culture, they don't know what they're fucking talking about, is what I'll say about that.
Well, someone responded to this dork saying, there are 20 million pit bulls in the U.S. and 20 annual deaths attributed to pit bulls. Pools are 20 times as deadly. And this stupid freak says, "Oh, only 20 human beings horrifically mauled to death by someone's pet? Well, never mind then. Quick question, though. How high does the number need to be before you might consider it a problem?" And it's kind of ironic that this response and the original poster is none other than your favorite person on earth, Matt fucking Walsh.
I swear to God,
You were
I
gonna
was
guess
totally
it.
I knew it. I swear he was in my mind. Before you started talking, I was thinking Steven Crowder, but then when you started talking, I was like, it's got to be Matt Walsh.
Yeah, and that's right. And I brought up the fact that he doesn't like dogs anyway, it seems like. So, of course, has some
He just has no idea
anti-pit
what he's
bull take.
talking about at all.
Yeah.
Like, there's just so much information out there that it disproves what he's saying. So he's just a stupid pedophile that doesn't know anything about anything.
Well, and that with that response,
what do you expect? A bad take from a pedophile? Oh.
Yeah, wow, color me surprised.
Yeah, shocker.
But what's funny is that tweet, "Oh, only 20 humans horrifically mauled? How high does the number need to be before you might consider it a problem?" And Ostenox, I think he's an editor for Hassan, I think, or he does Hassan edits. He responded to Matt Walsh with just a blank white background picture of an AR-15.
Yeah, I knew
Exactly. And it's like, shut the
Yeah.
fuck up, Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's the best.
Sounds like you're pretty into this, buddy.
Matt Walsh?
Suck me from the back.
Exactly.
No, thank you.
And anyone who likes Matt Walsh?
Suck a dick, dumb shits.
These people are sick.
Yeah. And all
Agree.
agree. And all they want to do is say
The N-word.
And lower the age of consent.
People have to flush their toilet 15 times.
that's them. You know?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're talking you know what? Anything
Those people.
all of these skewed and it sucks that pit bull advocates, pit bull lovers, animal lovers have to fight back against all this crap. There's so often like the statistics with pit bulls. I mean, of course, if a pit bull does attack you, it's gonna suck. You're gonna have a bad time. Just like, I don't know, if a fucking bull attacks you, like, come on.
Or a lab or a poodle
Yeah,
or a
just
collie
like
or
anything.
literally any
Well,
other German Shepherd,
Yeah,
a
German
Rottweiler.
Shepherd. Even someone in the comments,
a
they said,
Mastiff,
yeah, it's just
a Doberman.
it's bullshit. He's like, I remember when it used to be Rottweilers. That was the thing. That was the
Dobermans
go-to.
in the 80s.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure.
You know, and before that, it was, running out of cocaine. But it's like, you might as well have had a
worst thing you could
Doberman
imagine.
maul your face.
Yeah.
But, and then all the stuff that comes out, it's only to... like, hate pit bulls. I don't get it. And I look at it, I'm just like,
This is propaganda.
I swear to God.
This is propaganda.
It's because they're associated with black people.
Yeah, no,
That's
exactly.
A huge part of it
Yeah.
is like that they're like dangerous thugs with their pit bulls on a chain and blah, blah, blah. That's this attitude about one of the most popular breeds in America. It's like second to labs, and like so many things are mixed with it because it's so incredibly popular.
Yeah.
That
because they're
blah, blah, blah,
awesome
blah, blah. I don't need to explain
dogs.
myself to Matt Walsh.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
And for
Because they're
being
dogs.
such like sweet lunks, they're kind of smart sometimes too. At least mine is. For how dumb she is.
They are smart.
She's smart
No,
too.
they're sweet
She
and
learns
smart.
things really well. Yeah, she's very emotionally responsive, I feel like. She's a
They're
real
used as
good
like
dog
therapy
pet.
dogs.
Yes.
Yeah. The AKC book that we have from like whatever year, it describes all the different breeds, and because my sister and I are huge nerds, we read it,
Yes.
and like I
It used to
know
be
about all
sitting in the
different dog
car.
breeds, and what it talks about, what it talks about, Staffordshire Bull Terrier, which is a pit bull, that they're, with their history of dog fighting, that they do have dog aggression, but it says in there, it's like, they have all these good qualities, and they shouldn't be judged by what man makes them do.
Yeah.
Like, that's not them. That's us. And it was really, like, they have a really good temperament. They're really friendly. My pit bull, oh my gosh, that I used to have,
the
he is so freaking
best.
friendly. He'll get in the car with anybody.
Yeah.
And, like, he's so like what a good-natured dog, and like.
Yeah, that was like a problem with.
It is unfair that they're stigmatized. Yeah,
you know, our the old family pit bull out on McManaman. Didn't he just like someone just took him or something, or her Coco?
Yeah,
didn't that happen?
Someone just
you just pull up and be like, "Hey, get in the truck," and they'd be like, "Okay, you're nice,"
and she did.
Yeah, exactly. Ugh. I hope that she just mauled him. No.
I hope she lived a happy rest of her life.
I guess.
But,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was sad.
Man. Anyway, that was a good one to end on. Hating Matt Walsh. Yeah. But, yeah, so...
Dog-hating bozo.
Oh, my gosh. It was in my tweet. Someone said, "Oh, only 20 human beings horrifically shot to death by someone's gun? Well, never mind then. Quick question, though. How high does the number need to be before you might consider it a problem?" And some idiot Matt Walsh guy is just like, "Who said it wasn't a problem? Nobody on either side believes that gun violence is not a problem." I was like, "Who said it wasn't a problem? Matt fucking Walsh, bozo." It's like, what do you think?
Bozo.
Why do you think we're responding with this picture of a gun? It's not whataboutism. It's about Matt Walsh's politics and people like him. It's just hypocrisy in your
idiots.
like ideological stances here. I don't know what his...
They don't know what that means.
Yeah, Matt Walsh might, but, I don't know. I couldn't make a pedophile joke with that. I don't know. But, yeah, he learned it at the last NAMBLA meeting. I don't know. That's really weak.
Yeah.
But, anyway...
The N-word!
Whoa! Sorry. Good thing I could
out.
block that out with the soundboard. No.
Yeah.
Instead of a beep, just literally just doing
The N-word!
That's really
so
funny.
everyone knows exactly what
you said.
These people are sick.
And I love you. This
love
was
you.
a real all
Real
over
rambler.
the map. All over the map, really talking about stuff that we don't know, which is
Oh,
great.
mostly.
I really enjoyed it. I was looking forward to it.
I agree. It's great to be fine.
Yes, I agree. It is great to be fine. Shout out to R.M. Brown.
Our Lord and Savior.
When he hears this episode, he'll say,
Not good.
and we know that. He listens to
Because
every
he
single
has
one.
good
No.
taste.
Yeah, that's why we like him, because he hates shows like ours. Everyone listen to him. Everyone listen to our other show, Counting Peanuts. It's okay. I'm done with improv today. Okay, I love you.
I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.